Hello, my name is Justin. Welcome to the Scratch Adventures. Today we'll be making a Scratch piano called the Amazing Piano. So press the green flag to start the program and it will switch to a random backdrop. And then you can play the keys. And then there's got to be a cool animation after effect. And yeah. We can change the pitch of how high or low the instrument is. So, yeah. You can hear the pitch changing. And, yeah. You can also change the instrument. So, like, what instrument it is. You can find it in music. And the beat is how long the key lasts when you press it. It can be really short or it can be very long. Also, when you press the key, it will change the effect. And backdrop. So, let's go through the steps first. Step 1, you need to draw a white key and a black key. The white keys are the normal keys, the black keys are the sharps and flats. Step 2, using a clone to make a piano with all keys. So for this step, we need to use a clone, and then it will just keep on repeating until we have the entire keyboard. Because if we use one by one, we have to keep on duplicating it, and it takes really long to finish. Step 3, extend the piano function so you can change the pitch, how high the sound is, the instrument type, what instrument it is, and the beats, meaning how long the note lasts when you press it. Step 4, add a cool click effect. This happens when you tap it. There's an after effect. And obviously step 5, you add more backdrops and click costumes. So these are the steps. And yeah. Also for the clone, so we have two costumes. First we're going to technically you need one costume and then you switch to the other costume and then you switch back to the costume. So yeah, and then it keeps on repeating the pattern and then you get the instrument. And step 5 will take pretty long because of the backdrops and click costume. But you need to add backdrops and click costumes. So yeah. Now let's go into scratch.mit.edu. And yeah. Build a profile. If you don't have a profile, then make a profile. If you already have a profile, use the profile. Now go into create. And yeah. Amazing Piano is the title name. So we don't need this cat. We're gonna make a new sprite like the piano keys. I'm gonna piano. I'm gonna name this white key. So then we need to figure out how big it is. So we go into backdrop search, go right to the end, and then you can find a XY grid paper 20px and a XY grid paper 30px. Since 30px is bigger, we're gonna use that. So make sure the key is 3 tiles long and it is white. The white key is 3 tiles long. Drag it there. Can shorten the size of it. Make it thinner to match. That's pretty good. Now we need to make another costume for the black key. So go into paint, black key. Fill it is black. You just change the brightness to 0, the saturation and color do not matter. And just make a small key, right in the middle. About there. Okay. So the code, Now we need to go into code. So how do we normally start? We go to events, but this time we're gonna talk about how to make a piano. So as you see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a 16 times 12 grid, and this is all our keys. As we count, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. We got this 28. But if you want to see the grid paper, like as you count the small particles, there's 30. So you might be able to see it's 32, but you can also see that there's a gap between E and F, B and C, E and F again. So there are keys, there are 28 keys, and the counter there are 30. As you know, the counter there are 32. Because like 1, 2, you count the black keys, without the keyboard, you count all the black keys, like without the pattern, then there's gonna be like a few extra black keys. Now we're gonna put the piano things in the middle. Match it correctly. And let's go into code. So first go into events and press when green flag clicked. Motion. You go to this position. And then we need to go into looks. And well, first we need to switch costume to black key. And then we go next costume. So that's how the clone effect is going to work. So we also hide, and then when the clone is produced, you show. So clone is in control. So create a clone of myself, and this is when I start as a clone. So control. We're going to repeat this 32 times as we recorded because that's the counter. And then create a clone over myself. So it goes all the way along. Also have to change the X by 15, but like that's how long each are. Like half the radius, because like half a square, because then like that's how it's gonna fit. And yep. Going inside events, we need to use a new function called if and else. And then we go to equals something. If white key. If something equals white key, what do you think it might be? If the costume name equals white key, so you can also press a small button, then you go to you want to go to the back layer, because like the black is going to overlap it, the black one is going to overlap it. So if it's a black key, then it's going to go to the front layer. So if you go, it's like that. Well, if you see the black key isn't really aligned, so we're going to move it and keep on shifting it. Sorry, because like a little bit longer. And we move it up. You can use the computer arrow keys for this. Okay, now we're going to be talking about modulus. Modulus is another name for the remainder after division. So take example, 6 mod 14. As you know, 6 cannot be divisible by 14. That means the answer is 6. 20 mod 14. 20 divided by 14 equals 1, remainder 6. So 6 is the modulus. Or you can just call it mod. So 34 mod 14 equals 2, remainder 6. So this is how we find out these. This is the 6 mod 14. This is the 20 mod 14, and this is the 34 mod 14. Now I'm going to talk about these keys. So we have E to F space and a B to C space. So B to C space is 14 mod 14, as you know that's 0. 28 mod 14, also that is 0. And 42 mod 14, also that is 0. So yeah, that's modulus. So now we go into control and select if then, and then take out the XY by 15, put that back, and then done. So now, as we said before, we need to get rid of the 6th space, 14th, 20th, and 28th. So make a new variable called counter. At the start, when you set counter to 1, so counter like you count like how many keys there are, and then it removes 1 by the if then. So if not 6, if the counter doesn't equal 6, then you create a clone of yourself. So duplicate it. 14. So let's go back into operators. So should we use and or? If you said and, that would be correct. So drag it in and drag it in the if run the code. But now we should get rid of the 20th and 28th one. So this time we're going to be using the mod. So counter mod 14 equals 6. If the counter divided by 14 equals 6, and if we use that again, the counter mod 14 equals, as we just written down 0, then you don't do it. So using the mod, it is much better. It carves out like those keys. So now you can go onto this website for music, and we find out that C3 is the 48th note. You can go down and see the rest of the notes. So, yep. So mainly all we need to know is the 48th one. Go back to our code and make a new variable. And the variable is going to affect this part and like how the note changes. So yeah, make a variable called temp. It means temporary pitch. And drag set temp pitch to 0. And then every time you change the temp pitch by 1, this happens because if it slowly moves up the the tune slowly moves up. Now we're gonna make pitch, and we're gonna select for this sprite only. If you select for all sprites, then they will all have the same sound. So we have to select for this sprite only to have different sounds. Press OK and set the temporary pitch, the pitch, to temporary pitch plus 48, because that is the C that we want. So go into operators, plus 48. Drag that in, set pitch. And that's the pitch done. So now when you make it like when we click it, then there's a sound. So when this sprite clicked, we need to go into music, play note, pitch for 0.25 beats. So now we have the main function. We can play the keyboard. This is the main function. Done. So now you get rid of the counter, my variable pitch, and temp pitch, so you don't see them. So now we need to, like as we said, we need to make the note C pitch, like the pitch of how high it is. So go set the note C pitch to 4 because like that's middle C. So we don't need this part now. So we're gonna drag this note C pitch because like we're gonna make it into a slider later and put 10 pitch there and make it 48 plus pitch. Now we can use the note C pitch. Gonna be note C pitch operators times how many, because like now since we've got rid of the keys, now every all the keys to the next C, every octave is containing 12 keys. So we put that in 48. So we changed note C pitch to slider, change the slider range. The minimum is 3 and the maximum is 7 for our piano. So now you can play it. This is normal, octave lower, octave higher, and the highest octave. So now I'll go back into variables. I'm going to make an instrument. Press the OK button, and then we set the instrument. Or you can first like drag this down and find like the last one. If you look again, the last one is synth pad, also known as 21. So we set the instrument to 1 because like that's the lowest. And we play note this, but then we also need the instrument. So we can set the instrument to instrument, and we change the instrument into a slider. As seen below, we have found that the minimum is 1 and the maximum is 21. It's okay. And I can change the instrument. So yeah, that's the instrument done, and the last function is the beats. So I create a new variable called beats. Okay. And then you set the beats to 0.25 and go across. Sorry, well, I'm having trouble with the mouse. And set the beats to beats. Now we drag it there, right click, and you get the slider. Change slider range. The minimum is 0.25 and the maximum as it can be 2 or 4. Which one you prefer? And then because like you might have some trouble because I'm not in full screen. And you can make it really long or very short. So this is the end of this part.